don't know what happened. Look,
And it's a big delay. Hold. That was really, really strange.
do we have a delay?
Huh?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I don't know what happened, but I just know the wind blowing real hard outside. But I
Well,
don't know.
that's right. Right. We got a
Yeah.
storm coming. Okay. Hi, everybody. How are you
What's up?
today?
Happy weekend, everybody.
Hold on. Let me see if I can. Hold on one second, you guys. So I decided to come on today to talk about what went on with the Braxtons. I usually do it around Monday or whenever I feel like it, I do it. But I was so disturbed last night that I had to come and do it today. Okay, let me figure this out. Hold on. Give me a second. You guys will, Perry, you ask about the weather and I got to reopen this. Hold
Hey,
on.
what's up, everybody? How y'all doing? How was your weather? Ours was pretty good. I think it was hanging around 103. Now it's starting to die down and starting to get very windy. So that's what's going on in Vegas. Let me see what you guys got while she's trying to tighten this up. Now I know
I
in
really
Kentucky
am.
it's raining, and well, Louisville and Lexington. Let me see. I got that from the
Okay.
watching the college games. Okay, go ahead, Sharrell.
All right. So last night I found it so disturbing. Well, I don't know. If you guys, if we go out, if the screen goes blank, I'm not gonna come back because it'll go out again. So we'll do it on Monday. But we're having just problems. Thank you guys for warning me about the banner. I don't know what's going on here. Anyway, 87 degrees in North Carolina. That's nice. Oh, 74 at home. Mount Vernon. It's in Las Vegas. Hot as hell in South Carolina. Rained a little bit and stopped. All right. Hi, Beatrice. Hi, Bonji. Hi, you guys. Okay, so listen. So last night I was so disturbed by the Braxtons that I had to come on and talk about it today. I actually just watched it an hour ago. It wasn't even last night, an hour ago. And the whole episode is about Tamar's in therapy and she's trying to get better. And she said the only reason she did the show is because her mother asked her and because Traci wanted her story told. Now, I wanted you to see the contradictions. She said that. Then you had the other side that were in Maryland, Trina and Towanda, saying that Traci never wanted a funeral. She wasn't like that. She didn't want people looking over her while she's in, no longer with us. And they swear up and down that Traci didn't want a funeral. Okay, this was so triggering because I remember 2 years ago when I was covering this story, and I did a report about how the Braxtons didn't show up for the funeral. And Towanda called me a liar. And how could I do this after Traci's passing? And I have no feelings and I'm the lowest of the low. So I want to play this video back just to show you guys how much she lies. How much Towanda lies. I think something's wrong with Towanda. I think Trina is horribly dumb, and I mean that in a respectful way. And you're just riding along with the toxic in the family. And the people I think is toxic in that family is Towanda and Miss Evelyn. Now, I didn't understand what you guys were talking about before. She does her dirt behind the scenes. Let's go over this because I just want to show you this. Did you want to say anything, Perry, before I?
Oh, no, go ahead.
Okay, so I mean, this is no getting out of this one. A lot of times when you tell something first, a lot of the people come out and they say, you're lying. That never happened. I mean, we get it all the time. And you guys just don't know how some people will stop at nothing for you to not tell their story. Hold on, let me see. that the family is going to have a second funeral. Now, I made a video about this. I might have to go back a little bit more. Hold on. It's minus Towanda. I'm not afraid of lawsuits. I've been sued before by a 90-Day Fiancé cast member. Now, don't forget, she threatened to sue me because I said none of the sisters went to the funeral. Okay, let's just go over this again. Okay, who is the real liar, people? Let me see if I can make this bigger. Hold on, let me see if this plays a difference. Yeah, that is way better. Member in which they end up owing me thousands of dollars because I know what I'm doing. I'm not the kind of person I'm not malicious, and I don't try to humiliate anybody. It's just what it is. I'm allowed to give my opinions. This is a gossip and rumor channel, which we talk about gossip and rumors, and we get into deep conversations. So I want to start out by saying that because Towanda Braxton is losing it. She's threatening to sue me. We'll get to that in a minute. This is a very sensitive topic. I'm a fan of the Braxtons minus Towanda. I adore Traci. If you've seen my previous videos, I was shook when she passed away. Very, very shook. So this is not intended to start any kind of war with the Braxtons. This is a story that we're telling. With that being said, let's get into it. So I'm going to start out with, the, hold on, I got to get to it. Tony, in my previous videos, Tamar went over and beyond. These are the rumors. This is what we're being told. This is what's out there. She went over and beyond. Also, she did not mention being at that funeral because the rumors are they were not at that funeral. Also, she said that on April 2nd, they were going to have Traci Day. This does not mean that they're planning another funeral. I don't know what Traci Day means. It can mean anything, but she did not specifically say that they're having another funeral April 2nd. So I wanted to clear that up. A lot of people think that the family is going to have a second funeral. Now, I made a video about this in which I said that the Braxtons were not at the Braxton sisters were at the funeral. The only people of the family was there was the father, his wife, and Michael Jr. The sisters did not attend this wedding, this funeral. And it was signed, okay, for them to come. Now, let's talk about the rumors that ended up coming out on page 6. Let me put this up. So far, they're saying that I'm a liar and I'm going to get sued. And I better watch what I talk about because they were at that funeral. Now, I don't know why they would say something so damn dumb that is so easily proven. It's easy to see if you were at that funeral or not.
Yeah.
So let's keep watching. And I'm sorry this is lengthy because you have to watch this first before I blow the lid on what happened tonight. Okay? Because I've said this for a long time. Towanda Braxton is the toxicity in the family. She's a liar. She doesn't want anyone to call out her dirt. She plays head games like she's playing head games with Tamar right now. But just let me go over how she called me a bold-faced liar that they were definitely at that funeral. Here we go. It ended up coming out on page 6, but I reported this before anyone else did because I had a tip. I'll put it that way. But what I said in this video that got Towanda all in a tizzy. She was in a tizzy. Let me talk about that. But let me put this up first to let you know that it's now being reported. Everything that I said came out on page 6. So what are you going to sue page 6 now, Towanda? Let's go over what I said. So I said they didn't come to the funeral. I said that there has been tension since before Traci got sick with Kevin. They don't like her husband. I said that, and this was also in the article on page 6. I said that Traci left everything to her son, made him the executor because she wanted things done a certain way, and she didn't want her sisters to come back and undo what she had planned. So she's, in a way, she kind of predicted what happened was going to happen. I said that there were some people that didn't like her boyfriend, Sean. I'm going to go into details about this in a minute. Let me tell you what I woke up to the next day after I did that video. Now, most cast members, if they see something that I said in a blog that wasn't true, they'll usually contact me privately and say, this is not true. And they'll either tell me this is my side of the story or this is what really happened or something like that. Because most bloggers, and I don't know if you guys remember this, PK came out and said, it's not wise to make an enemy out of a blogger. It's just not wise to do it. Towanda didn't get the memo. Woke up the next morning, she texted me, I'm suing you. You're a liar. You're making up lies. And I was like, okay, she's upset. And usually when they're upset, I reach out to them. But before I could reach out, she was in my comment section on Instagram. It was the damnedest. I never seen anything like it. She was in my comment section. Let me put this up. I'm like, what? Huh? First of all, there were people out there saying, you're making this up. They were at the funeral. They wouldn't do each other like that. They loved each other. I understand the public being in their feelings because maybe you had a different opinion of what happened or who these people are. But you have to, we don't know these people. This is what we see on TV. So I woke up. She's all in my comment section. Here, this one's first. They're out of order. She says, I'm going to sue you. Buckle up, buddy. Buckle up for the ride. I don't know what I did with that comment. These are still up. I did not take them down. Buckle up. You can't say anything that you want to say. Huh? I've never, ever, ever had a talent openly go in public and just want to start a feud with me. I'm like, what? Okay. Call my attorney. I'm like, what? Show him the video. He's like, leave it up. You didn't do anything wrong. So I didn't respond at first. And then didn't Towanda get out a few years ago for stealing Mama Evelyn's Social Security checks? I haven't heard that. I don't know. But I'll tell you what, something's wrong with this woman. I've never seen anyone act like this. So I got the text messages out of order here. I don't know. So I'm just going to read them to you as they are. I'm going to have our attorney send you an official letter for defamation and slander. As you know, as a blogger, you can't say what you want. Yes, I can. What I can't do is lie on you. What I can't do is, I don't know, start trouble or defamation. Like if I'm just constantly doing the videos about this person to intentionally make them look bad, that's defamation, which is hard to prove. I know. It's very hard to prove. But I can have opinions all day long. If I want to say that your boyfriend is weirdo, I'm allowed to say that. So I said, are you serious right now? You're really in my comment section to start a beef with me? This has never happened before. And I've been blogging for years. Never happened before. I said, how old are you again? Is it about time to grow up? Because I'm in shock. Like, you're in my comment section. No DM, no private email. This is where this conversation usually takes place. You're out in private, public. But my turn says, don't take it down. You did nothing wrong, so I didn't take it down. So she goes on and on and on. And I'm just reading the important ones. You can go back if you're that interested and read all of them. Because she's got all these people saying, we knew you wouldn't not go to your your sister's funeral. We knew she was lying. We knew you'd be there. You guys are so close. I didn't respond. I'm like, whatever. Fine. Okay. So she says, so she gets this person. Oh, anyway, she keeps going. She's emailing me. She's bugging out. So then, and it went on for days. She says, so you delete my comments? Shame on you. You, as we are grieving our beloved sister every day, I'm grieving, and yet here you are. I'm like, you're the one bugging me. And if you are grieving, who has time to do this? So I said, Towanda, no one deleted your comments. I'm just no responding. I meant not typo. I'm just not responding. How do I look arguing with you about something that was said in a video going back and forth? What? Huh? I said, this is a very difficult time for your family right now. I don't think you're realizing what you're doing. I've never had anybody do this before, especially at this sensitive time. Your sister just passed. And I know on my videos, I was like, devastated. I cried when I was telling you guys that Traci passed away. I also was saying that they didn't attend the funeral, but we don't know why. No one jumped to conclusions. I was very careful in that video. And I was very careful because I respect the Braxtons. Even though I knew different. And I held back on that video. And that's what we're going to get to in a minute. I said, you don't realize what you're doing right now. Out of respect for Traci, I don't want to go back and forth. If you DM me privately, I will tell you exactly who gave me the information. This is an inside job. I don't just hop on here and make up lies because I'm in the mood to lie. I said, I'm sure I'm not the only person they gave the information to. I'm trying to be very reasonable with her, very reasonable. V, shout out to V, who's on my panel, sees what I'm going because I'm talking to my panel, and I think I told a couple of people behind the scenes, like, what? Look at this girl. She's sending me threatening letters. This is how it works. If someone's going to sue you, they send you an official cease and desist. Then the lawsuit falls, or they could just sue you. No one gets on and say, it's coming. You better look out for it. I'm going to sue you. That's not how it usually works. So I'm baffled. We're like, what is going on here? V reaches out, says, Towanda, Sharrell is a blogger. She is reporting the story as it unfolds because that's what bloggers do. She does not make up stories or falsely report stories. She tells the whole story as it unfolds. So please get out of her comment section. I'm sure you have more important things to do because you keep saying you're grieving. But at this point, you're harassing me in public. I don't know what you were trying to do. She was trying to get public sympathy. And she was being very manipulative about it. Because when people would ask, well, did you go to the funeral? She wouldn't respond. She's just a liar. She doesn't say what she's mad about. Well, what happened? She's just a liar. So she's being very, very manipulative. And I can hardly, function right now because I'm grieving. I was very respectful. Okay, maybe people grieve that way. Maybe they lash out at others. She says, Traci was a very loved public figure. People have an invested interest in her. So please let Sharrell do her job. This is what she says. So I'm thinking she's mad because I said that they weren't at the funeral and people had opinions about that. And maybe she didn't want that out there. I don't know what she's mad about. She says, B, doing her job by spreading false accusations in regards to my daughter. Your daughter? The hell are you talking about? You should research Cardi B and Latasha Kebe. She's talking about Tasha K. Threatening. Yeah. Tasha K got sued, and I'm going to sue you too. I'm not Tasha K. I did not lie on you about anything. That's number one. Number two, you're trying to bully me. All right, let me stop it right there. I'm going to keep playing it, but I want you to hear. That's why I play this video. She approached me first about her daughter. Okay, I never mentioned the daughter publicly. She was scared I was going to. I won't tell you guys what's going on because it does have to do with her children. And for me, kids are off limits, but I need you to put two and two together. Sean is strange, very, very strange, and she needs to concentrate on her damn family. The last thing you need to worry about is a blogger exposing the fact that you were not at the funeral. Okay, fast forward. Here we are 2 years later. And what's the whole episode about? We didn't go to that funeral. So now who's the bold-faced liar, Towanda?
Wait a minute.
Okay, I caught you in a lie. I'm going to go on in this video because I want you guys to see. I said this 2 years ago. I want you to see what happened in this video and how at that time, little Kevin was saying that his mom wanted the funeral because they're trying to make Kevin Sr. look like some kind of monster and that he shouldn't be around the family. Traci put everything in writing, and I'm going to let you listen to this. She put everything in writing of what she wanted. Toni Braxton was the only one last night that had any kind of sanity. She said maybe Traci said something different to her husband because we don't know what goes on in anybody else's marriage. Okay? But
Right.
now little Kevin is saying that she didn't want a funeral and he's getting all this love and support from his family. And then he actually said last night, Dad, you were married into the Braxtons. I was born into the Braxtons. And they cheered him on. Really, in my opinion, encouraging, distancing him from his father. You could distance him all you want, but at the end of the day, Kevin Sr. is his father. And you're trying to turn your nephew against their father. I wonder what Traci would think of that. But let's keep going, okay? It's just really, they're strange. And Tamar, if you had any sense, you would stay away from Towanda and Trina. Number three, I happen to know you don't have Tasha K money. My last lawsuit cost me over $100,000. You filed bankruptcy last year, Towanda. Yes, I have better things to do. I'm grieving. Well, go grieve. She's out of order. As her friend, you shouldn't support her this way. You don't say what you're mad about. I never said anything bad about your daughter. I said that Shauna was a weirdo. You can't sue somebody for saying that. And why aren't you taking the time to grieve? I'm not asking you, how come you didn't go to that funeral? And you have to have sense enough to know somebody inside told her what's going on. So what I think she's upset about is she knows there's way more to this story that I know that I did not report, and I didn't plan on reporting it because of the timing. Your sister just passed away. I feel hurt about it. I'm an ex-cancer patient. Traci's a cancer patient. Every time you see someone doesn't survive as a cancer survivor, you feel some type of way. You're not worried about that. I know what you're worried about. I know exactly what you're worried about. And I was not going to mention that. I will now. At the proper time. I will. I'm I'm going to put you on blast just because you're a bully. What are you doing? Go grieve. But she's not just hurting me. She's hurting her nephew. Hold on, I wanted to answer this question really quick. It says, Sharrell, you're missing something. Why do you think Traci didn't name her husband as the executor of the estate? Your perspective is off, in my opinion. Stay tuned. I'm going to explain that. Because she knew that they would come after the husband. And she didn't want them undoing anything that she wanted done. See, RB, you don't know what you're talking about. Just sit back and listen before you are so quick to judge. When I say that Towanda's not a good person, I'm not being mean. And how can you sit there and not feel anything when you watch these women turn their nephew against their own father? So maybe, RB, finish watching this video before you jump out of line and start being all high and mighty and standing up for something you don't know about. At the end of the day, no matter what happens, Kevin Sr. is always going to be his father, and they need to have a relationship. And we don't need in-laws saying what a bum he is and don't talk to him and this and this and that. That's why she put Kevin in charge of the estate, which they said I lied about that too. They said I didn't know what I talk about. Kevin Jr. is not the conservator over the estate. That's what they told me. They're really going out of their way to keep things quiet. But you didn't do a good enough job. Hold on, let me keep going. Let me remove that really quick and keep going. I mentioned all of that. And don't forget, this video was made 2 years ago. Matter of fact, let me do this so you could have the title and go back and look at it. See right here, 2 years ago. Okay, so wasn't lying then, not lying now. Let's get into the story, people. So, mysterious last night, page 6 releases this article. This is a damn shame. There's just no other way to put it. They released this article. Braxton feels sister Traci's husband. And by the way, I know the person who went to page 6. They talked to me about it before they went to page 6. They were like, these sisters are lying. I'm going to take it to page 6 and TMZ. They do their research before they print anything. So it's been double checked and verified. Just wanted to say that. Husband and team are exploiting her death. Trying to put the message out there that Kevin, her husband of 25 years, been together a total of 29 years, like me and my husband. Me and my husband been together 31 years. It's no good. Then they go over a list of things he did wrong. That her husband and management team have are not fulfilling Traci's wishes. And I told you guys that is not true. From what I'm being told, Traci left everything to her son. She went over how she wanted things done verbatim. She left a letter to him. It's being reported that he told someone, I followed my mother's wishes to a T. Now, I said that 2 years ago. Funny now, he doesn't mention the letter. He doesn't mention why they even proceeded with the funeral in the first place. The Braxtons, with the exception of Tamar and Tony, have brainwashed Kevin Jr. because he's going through a hard time right now. And if you ask me, he's dealing with grieving through drugs and alcohol. That's my opinion. Through drugs and alcohol. They're not supporting him. They're trying to get him to do what they want done. The thing that Traci knew exactly what they were going to do. Let's keep listening. Did you have anything to say, Perry?
Oh no, go ahead.
Good. Okay. You're trying to make him make a choice, this young man, between his mother, and he's an only child. He labeled her his best friend, and his aunts. Who does that? Who does that to your own flesh and blood? Anyway, they said there was a Zoom meeting, and Traci said she wanted this funeral this way, and it's not being met that way. Also, I reported it's rumors that they wanted all kind of things done their way. They didn't want the biker club there. They wanted this. They wanted that. You know, this man of 30 years has loved her. And let me remind you, it would have been an honor if he chose to ask you for your advice, but he didn't have to. For a couple of reasons. One, you're not next to kin. Two, she said what she wanted. Okay, fine. You don't show up because okay, fine. You don't get your way, but you don't show up. What argument is that bad where you can't send Traci off the proper way? Michael Jackson passed away. He had a private funeral and a public funeral. That family was at both. Nothing's that bad that you gotta send your nephew on the stage by himself because you don't show up. Let me play this before I get into the rest of this. This is little Kevin at the funeral that I streamed earlier saying, and it was the most heartbreaking thing, I had to give my mom permission to let go. Do you know how hard that is? I don't think I could ever give my family member permission to let go, especially if I was an only child. I had to give her permission to let go. You guys aren't there supporting him. They had a funeral today. I'm going to show you the pictures. They called it a celebration. And I'm going to show those pictures in a minute, in which the father came. He was there. But let me just give you an example of how much pain little Kevin's in.
I have much to say. My mother was my best friend. I loved her. I miss her. You know, when my mother told me she had cancer, the first thing she said was, okay, I'm gonna beat this. I'm gonna beat this. All right, that's cool. And I was at work when I found out the news. So, all right, Ma. Then the last time I talked to her about her being sick, I said, Ma, you already won. You already won mine. Like, you don't need to fight no more. It's okay. Because my mother's strong. And I don't know if she was trying to hang on for me, you know, baby Kevin, Liv, my father. But I know me seeing my mother like that was hard enough, you know? I love my mother enough to let her know, Mom, you already won this fight. And like what, you know, David just said, I'm gonna shoot for the shooting stars. She shot for it.
There, it's hard to watch. But let me say this. You say you support Kevin Jr. and you're there for him whenever he needs him. Whenever he needs you guys, you're there. But you sent him out on that stage by himself during one of the most hardest times of his life. Where were you then? Where were you? Fighting over something petty? It's more to the story too, because Traci felt that if she didn't put these things in writing, they would try to take her money. Like, the family's not like you see on TV. And Tawanda's way more ruthless than you guys would ever imagine. Don't buy that. I'm here for him. I love him. I really do believe he's under the influence of something. I've been around drug addicts a lot. I think he's doing that to get through what he's getting through. I think they talked him out of not being close with his father. They made him the boogeyman. So ridiculous. Let's say Traci didn't want the funeral. Let's say she didn't, and Kevin did. As her husband, I would go anyway out of respect. You were married to this man for decades. I'm not going to put little Kevin in that position. And he was devastated that you guys didn't come to the funeral. Now I see all of a sudden, now he's talking bad about his dad and saying that his mom didn't want the funeral. It's obvious he's having a hard time. I think this is my belief. I think that he's not dealing with it good. I think he turned to drugs and alcohol, and I think he put his hands on his wife, and that's why there's a protective order. Y'all ain't helping him do nothing, but you're trying to control to get your way.
Right, to damage Kevin.
They hate Kevin so much. And Tamar came out and said, my family's toxic. They're ruining my marriage. Tamar, if you want to save your marriage, brother, I think JR is good for you or not. Get away from them. Towanda, you got your own business to worry about. Worry about what goes on in your household. Worry about your own children. For me, you were ruthless and heartless this episode the whole entire time. Then even production sees there's a need for the father to step into the picture. They want him on the show. You threaten production. I'm not going to give him a platform because I'm so famous and I can use my platform whenever I want. No, you are using Toni Braxton's platform. Okay, you're not famous. Okay, just wanted to remind you of that. Last night's episode was so hard to watch. It's never okay to divide the family. Little Kevin, and I don't blame him, he is lost and hurt and doesn't know which way to go. He's an only child too. That makes it even worse. Your only child, if you have brothers and sisters, at least you can turn to them. He's dealing with this by himself. And unfortunately, I feel that Traci wanted him in charge because she knew what was going to happen. But I don't think she understood that he wouldn't be strong enough at that point to handle the things the way she wanted them handled. He's falling apart. And you know, I'm sure she overlooked that part because you don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if I pass away, are my boys going to fall apart? I don't know at that time. I think my boys are strong, but I don't know. So it's just a whole bad thing to watch. And Tamar said she didn't want to do this show. She said it. She said, it's triggering for me. It's hard to handle, but my mother asked me to. I mean, I want anybody to stop me when I'm lying. I think that now I see what people are talking about. People kept saying, Miss E is bitter and can't see past that. And I like her, but you need to get over what happened to you too, because your children are picking up on that. I mean, what? And Miss E doesn't like Kevin either. What do you guys want to do? Just push him out the way like he didn't exist and take Kevin Jr. and tell him all these bad things about his dad? And you guys are wrong. You guys are dead ass wrong. And Trina, stop following Towanda around. You have your own marriage to worry about. We see how he talks to you. We seen it on your YouTube channel that day. And we saw it this episode. Like, that's not normal. That's not normal behavior. He's very controlling. Okay, period. You seen it. You were there when all this was going down, and you know a little bit more than the public knows.
Yeah, I'm just saying that it's funny how like they can want people to overlook what's going on in their marriages, but they all over Kevin.
Yeah, it's
Kevin's
sad.
marriage. You know what I'm saying? And then it's sad when Kevin Jr. loses his mother. He at that time he needed people around him, right? Instead, they use a family feud to divide them, in my opinion. Going to him, being petty over simple things. And even if it was written down, maybe, written down that she didn't want one, right? No funeral. The funeral is for a living, not the deceased, right? So even nobody was around when she could have wrote it down before she got sick. At any moment, she could have came to Kevin Sr. and said, "Hey, you know what? I think I
Yeah.
can change my mind. I want this for you when I go." I don't know, but a lot of people don't know. But even say if it was written down and they feel like he crossed the line with his wife by choosing how he wanted her to depart, they could have respected their sister enough to be there for her, right? Because you was gonna honor her if she decided if she wanted one, you would have been there. If she didn't want one and didn't have one, you would have honored that. But why couldn't you honor her at the time of her passing and respect her husband? Maybe because you're jealous, you had a feud over the guy all these years for whatever reason, but you sitting there pointing at him, now trying to take the only thing he got left, which is Kevin Jr., and divide him away. Maybe, misery love company. Maybe you want his family to be a part as at, at the same time while you're not respecting your own. I'm not gonna
Hmm.
mention the person,
Yeah,
but what I'm
yeah,
saying is
yeah,
sometimes people want controversy when they realize one day it's gonna come back on their doorstep.
yeah. And
Go ahead.
I'm waiting for a letter, Tawanda, thanking me for not spilling the beans. Mickey says Tawanda trying to paint a narrative that she's super auntie. Even her kids called her out when she was like, I'm going to go see about Scratchy. Her kids were like, who? Tony and Tamar want no parts. Listen, I really feel that Tony is the only one in that family that has any common sense. I feel like they are energy drainers for Tony. I mean, they're asking her for all the stuff. Make me a star, make me famous, make me rich. Can I get? Can I get? Can I get? And then if Tamar really wants out the cult, she needs to stay in counseling and stay away from Tawanda. Tawanda's mad at you because you also know the family secret. And she's upset because you don't like Sean. Allegedly, you don't like Sean. And she's going to marry him anyway. So I just played you the video yesterday of him proposing. So we know they're going to get married. What I didn't see was how the family kept pressuring him to propose. Why would you want to marry this man when you know the family secret? Hi, Dr. Bonji. She says, I don't like Vaughn, but I think he sees the BS. Maybe that's it. Maybe you're right. Maybe he's short and thin-skinned because he's been watching this play out for years. The way he looked at at the camera when Tawanda and Sean were at the rental was telling. Tawanda, vulture. She's jealous hearted. So somebody wrote me this letter. I read it to you guys yesterday, saying that Tawanda's jealous. And to be honest, I think this letter came from someone in the circle. So it's the family and then people that they trust. It's not that many people that y'all trust. I can count them on one hand. Let's see what the audience has to say. What's the family secret? I just told you I'm not going to say it because it involves her daughter. All of them treated Traci bad, even Tony, saying she needs to lose 40 pounds. Yeah, but that's true. But for me, I'm glad Tony said, you never know what goes on in a marriage. There may be some things that we don't know, and this is why you had the funeral. She didn't jump on the bandwagon of we all gotta hate Kevin Sr. And not, and let me tell you why this is so pitiful. You guys need to go over to Kevin Sr.'s IG before the show even aired. He posts pictures of Traci every day. He's in mourning. And then he has this family turning his son into his enemy.
Right.
Let's see what else you guys have to say. I don't like what you're alluding to. First of all, Towanda, what am I alluding to? What am I alluding to, Towanda? Say it. What am I alluding to? No one else say anything else. I want her to respond. What am I alluding to, Towanda? I'll wait. That is Towanda. Towanda, what am I alluding to? Let me know. Don't go in the chat under an alias and think you can talk trash and scare the hell out of me. You're the one actually scared. I mean, what you did last night, I would be embarrassed of my behavior. Even production seen there's a need for the father and son to talk, father and son to unite. But then not only do you prevent that from happening, you also brag about what a good family member you guys are, and you're always there for each other. But you sent little Kevin out on that stage to do the hardest thing in his life by himself.
Yeah, love don't work like that. I mean, obviously, love didn't take them next to his side when he had to cross that stage. You know, I mean, it's just terrible.
Hold on 1 second, Perry. So you're pretending not to be Towanda, and now you're disrupting the chat. So I'm going to have to let you go because you're turning this into a game, and it's not. This is serious, serious problems. Please, here, I can do it myself. Hold on. Yeah, please don't come back. We don't need that kind of nonsense. Go ahead, Perry.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm just saying that it's a crazy thing. Like, people always want the glory on their back. Oh, I'm such a loving, sibling, aunt, uncle, whatever it is. But just faking to the whole world that they care about somebody. And look, it sounds like this. If you really cared about Kevin Jr., regardless, he could have been incarcerated. But, you still would go and visit. I mean, certain things you would do. Not to just leave him out there by himself. And if you really thought his mother didn't want one and he was forced to do it, you let him do it alone. Now, what kind of person really are you? But I think most of their problems is just comes down. They had some kind of beef with Kevin Sr. Maybe it was just could be,
But Perry,
he didn't have to follow by their rules.
But here's the thing. Let's say they don't like Kevin Sr.
Mm-hmm.
She chose him. She loved him. So out of respect for Traci, you have to respect Kevin.
Right.
It's just mind-boggling. Very hard to watch. Very, very hard to watch. They shouldn't have came back on reality TV. But Ms. E wants him gone too. And you guys are just all dead wrong. Tamar, if you want to save your sanity and you want to get out the cult, stay away from Towanda. Guilt and grief go hand in hand anyway, and maybe they're still grieving so bad after 2 years is because they don't pay, they didn't go pay last respect. I mean, listen, I've lost people close to me. Perry's lost both his parents and his brother. The grief never goes away. But I feel like they should be helping him with the grief, making his relationship strong with his father. That's his father till the day he's no longer here. What do you get out of breaking up the family, Towanda and Trina? How is this benefiting you? I remember when they first came on, they all were, I wouldn't say jealous of Tony, but they all wanted to be as famous as Tony, and they wanted the accolades that Tony had, and they were proud of their sisters, but a little bit they wanted that for themselves too.
Yeah.
And then I would say Towanda was just straight out jealous of Tony and Tamar. When the show came on, we all watched it from the beginning, and everybody was neutral. You know, we don't know these people. And that first season, Tamar was the breakout star. Whether you thought she was a crybaby or not, she was the breakout star. And Towanda couldn't take it. She got mad at her all the time and said, "You tell everybody's business." She was just, in my opinion, green with envy.
Yeah. What about me? I had next.
Hold on, let me do this. Hold on. This is so sad what is happening to this family. And Miss E wanted it in public because maybe she thought that everybody would turn on Kevin Jr., but you didn't think we would turn on you. No, I didn't go. It didn't go away, but it gets easier to accept. It gets easier to accept if you handle it in a healthy way. It won't if you don't know how to handle it. It won't if you turn to drugs and alcohol. It's not going to get better. Towanda was open of her jealousy on starting over. I remember that show with Iyanla, but I just don't remember Towanda back then. I remember watching it, but I know Tamar came to visit, but I just don't know. I can't remember how it went down. Let's just see what other people have to say. If they were real, they would push for father and son to see a therapist. Yes. Kevin Sr. needed to be in that grief counseling meeting. A therapist for grief and not the opposite. I saw a clip for next week. Junior was video with Trina and slurred, I told you. I feel he's turning to drugs and alcohol. I also think that he put his hands on his wife because she was very supportive too. And maybe they could heal that relationship. Maybe the grief that he's dealing with drove him to drugs. And this is just my opinion now, drove him to drugs and alcohol. And then the wife didn't like watching it. They got into an argument and he did something that he probably never would have done in his right mind.
Yeah.
That's just me. Love the mature experience approach, Michelle, you present. Oh, thank you. It's just a lot. Perry, what is your advice for Kevin Sr. if he is turning to drugs and alcohol? Kevin Jr.
Well, I mean, it's look, I mean, it's not the right path. I mean, if he see losing your wife and your family and losing your father, you already lost your mother. I mean, continuing down that road would not bring these people back into your life. You need to try to just get some help and counseling, you know, or whatnot, and try to work it out because you don't want to lose everything because you lost your mother. And I know it's hard, but it's always life after that. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So that's sort of, you know, I don't know what else to say to him besides that. But no, I would say this: do not let your aunts, grandparents, or whoever turn you against your father. I would say that that's the worst thing you can do. If your father did something to you that was wrong, then maybe y'all should talk about it. But in my opinion, that family is not in their best interest for you to be with your father because they got issues with them. Now, what the issues are, I don't know. Maybe you feel like that Traci didn't have to live the same life that y'all had to go through because y'all was fighting for stardom. You know what I'm saying? And she just had the simple life. You know what I'm saying? And just jealous, you know, because he didn't have to play by their books. You know what I'm saying? If they ain't paying his bills, he ain't got to listen to them. So, you know, I don't know. I think that the best thing he can do is follow his own path. Don't let some other people destroy it because if they really cared for you, they'd have been by your side at the time you needed them the most.
That funeral.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Hi, Tulsa. How do you feel about all of this? It's a lot.
Well, first and foremost, thank you all for having me on the panel, Sharrell and Perry. How I feel about it is grief. Well, let's start with the marriage first because When you are married, you become one. So whether she says something before, she may have said something after. And let's get on the part where how, out of all the sisters, who's had a successful marriage?
Mm,
Well,
It seems like
mm.
can't nobody hold a man. Mama E can't hold a man.
Oh,
She can't even hold her trauma because why is it all the girls are it appears that they're all traumatized because of the daddy
yeah,
messing around. She got
yeah,
all them screwed up with her
yeah,
mess. That's
yeah,
just like us. If us as parents, we going through something, we're the first thing that we're not going to do is go to our children and just blabber out about the other parent, right? But
yeah.
let's talk about the money issues. Money will make this family do so many things. Ask Tony Braxton. She's had money issues. This is a repetitive situation that goes on in this family, right? Because when we think about it, whether she did, whether she didn't, they wanted to make some money. They wanted to profit off of it.
Ooh,
And
that's true. They
the
shouldn't even be on the show. Why did they come back, Tulsa? Why?
money, it goes
Yeah.
back to the money issues. They need that check. But let's
Mhm.
talk about this with the trauma. Tamar has her own trauma. Everybody has their own trauma. They went through therapy. I think that they really need to go to therapy off camera because it
Yeah.
seems like they're only doing it for on camera. That's why they're not getting any results. Nobody's taking it serious.
Yeah.
And to sit up
Yeah.
here and do this to your nephew, that
Ah.
that that is so horrible. And I can't imagine losing my mother and not really knowing who to take serious. And these are her blood sisters. So that's why they say, even though that you're blood, I've learned that I found family outside of not being my blood, you know?
Yeah.
right.
But those are just my
Fa-
thoughts.
No,
Families who you make your family.
I agree.
Yeah.
Hi, Bonji. Sound off. Ooh, it's so hard to watch.
Hey, Sharrell. I was conflicted on whether to watch, considering how they treated Tracy, and I was also conflicted about them showing what seems to be her last moments.
Hmm.
And what is even more concerning is on the interview that Tama showed on last night's show,
Oh,
when the host asked her why she decided to come back, especially after she had had her emergency
mhm.
and then blamed it on WeTV. And when her answer was that um, one, Tracy asked her to do it, I call BS on that unless they show proof. Um, because they were not willing to film with Tracy when Tracy wanted to continue the show. So how can we believe that now that she's sick, she's going to ask you guys to do it after she's passed? It doesn't make sense to me.
Well, I don't think she meant after. I think she told her, you guys keep on with the show. But do you think that Tamar is going through a transitioning period where either she's going to change or not? Do you think she's trying to work on herself, Bonji?
I think she is, but then the toxicity that Queen Tulsa is talking about, the trauma,
Mm-hmm.
um, and the way the mother has such a huge influence on them, even beyond their own spouses, could be another reason why Tamar keeps holding on to Colonel Sanders, because he seems to be the only new variable in that family that we haven't seen before.
We need Kevin Sr. on the show, at least for one episode, so he can tell his side of the story. But have you been to his Instagram? It's so sad. He's not doing this for the show. He's been posting pictures constantly of his wife since she passed away. And they're not even acknowledging the fact that he's grieving too. He's
And from
grieving.
what the grandpa was saying at that dinner table, he brought up the fact that he thinks that um, Kevin Jr. and Kevin Sr. working on their relationship would benefit both of them.
I would.
But that is so different from what the sisters and Tawanda want. Tawanda's response in that
Oh
last scene and her yelling at production says more than what we probably know. And then next week, someone brought it up in the comment talking about Kevin Jr. Slurring and then passing out. He was slurring on last night's episode as well.
Yeah, that's
There
what I
was
said.
something about his speech that I'd never noticed before.
And I took a picture. The bags under his eyes, you could just
Oh,
tell
yes.
he's on something. He's on something. You're too young to look that old. Like you're 28. You know, you don't look 28. And I don't know, you guys.
It's
just
heartbreaking. It's sad to see.
Mhm.
I hope they see it, and at least Tamar gets the help that she needs,
Mhm.
and somehow has a way of, because she has charted her own course after Tony,
Mhm.
whereas Trina and Towanda really don't seem to have anything going. If you
They don't.
notice
But
the
Trina has a big problem on her hands, and his name is Vaughn. Vaughn is not. He's not talking to her right. And you're right, Bonji. Maybe he sees things that we don't see.
And once you get into that vacuum of the sisters, just like how Gabe ended up being ostracized and voted off the island, Vince ended up being voted out of the island. And of course, I'm not blaming the wives for how those marriages ended.
Yeah.
But the guys are as responsible as the sisters are. Something though seems to be a common denominator when it comes to their relationships, and the mother is the foundation of all that.
And I want to apologize to you because you kept saying, "Oh, something's off with Miss E," and I'm like, "What are y'all talking about?" Then last night it all made sense. She is the one behind all of this. If she would have told Towanda, "Stop cutting up and leave Kevin Sr. alone," they would do it.
And the first thing she could have done was, we're all going to the funeral whether you like it or not. Show up.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, just out of respect. I mean, that's
yes.
That's what you would do. And you could say, "Hey, he shouldn't be having it," but you're not going there for Kevin Sr. You going there for your sister you just lost. You know what I mean? That's the part I don't understand about it.
But
And
listen, let's just check this out. Can we blame the Braxtons for how they're treating this woman and her husband? Because let's be honest, Traci has achieved something that they've never achieved. And that was a man that actually loved her. It wasn't for the fame. It wasn't for the money. And, he's not like Jeremy. He's not embarrassing her and eating arse on the weekend and coming back and kissing you right in the mouth. Wait, Marv.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's a mess. It's a mess. Also, you guys, I'm gonna be putting out a lot of videos about the Braxtons to make a playlist. So some of them are going to be repeat, but just know what I'm doing. Now I'm documenting these. I'm documenting these things that's going on because Towanda has a tendency to lie, and I need to be able to call her out on it.
And Sharrell, if you need a witness, I watched that live 2 years ago when you were live. And I remember every word because when this show was coming back, I kept thinking of all the things that you had reported about Towanda. And I was like, yeah, something is definitely off.
It's really bad. I mean, it's just bad. So anyway, listen, you guys, I'm going to end this here because my son just came. And let's meet up again next week. And I got a feeling I'm going to do a lot of videos this week. I think I'm going to get some hate mail this week. And just know, if I do, I'm going to read them to the public.
Wait a minute.
I just say. Anyway, thank you guys for coming. I really appreciate it. Love you guys. Bye-bye.
Thank you for having me.
Bye. Let me read this. What needs to happen, the woman should back off and let Kevin Sr. and Kevin Jr., Miss Braxton and their brother help the Kevins heal. You got to help them heal. Right. Carrie, do you have any last words?
I'm just saying, if they truly cared, and really at this point, whether they handled it right back then during the funeral or not, right now, if you see Kevin Jr. suffering, y'all should be doing anything to try to help him. You know what I'm saying? And even how much you could hate Kevin Sr. He loved your sister. from how I'm looking at it. Now you can want to deny and act like he didn't, but ain't no man stayed with your ass that long. So y'all should be doing more to help out. That's what I think.
All right, you guys, we'll see you this time next week. Take care.
Feel me?
Fuck this shit, I'm out. Fuck